Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fabs in the house, and welcome back to the channel. Today I am in the house with these two beauties right over here. I've got the new Custom Division Hati Magnetic and the Custom Division Hati Bronze here with me for a quick comparison review, because these are two amazing Hatis. So, there's been some improvements from this older generation to the current 2022 model right over here. Hati Bronze, in this case, is basically the F95 version of the knife with the carbon fiber show side scale. In this case, you get to see this carbon fiber with the bronze dust infused into the actual carbon fiber to create this kind of pretty cool, neat, shimmering look on the show side. You get a titanium lock side, same thing going on for the Hati magnetic carbon fiber with titanium dust infused into the carbon fiber and a titanium frame lock on the lock side. So these are the similarities. I mean, both are custom division, both are Hatis, both are amazing, but that is pretty much about it. I mean, the similarity. Oh, yeah, the steel is the same, S90V for the blade, but that is it. Pretty much everything else changed. So let's just start from the handle. I mean, show side, you get carbon fiber scale, which is 3D milled with some micro milling going on, which you can clearly see right over here, right? The Hati magnetic has also like carbon fiber milled scale, but this is concave. This is convex. So like if you look at from this side, it just, you know, it creates like it's bulging out like that. Whereas the anti-magnetic is concave, so it's going inside. It's, you know, it's not flat. So that's the first apparent difference between these two guys. I mean, the milling, of course, is going to be different. So on this side, you can't really quite see, but the milling is going to be like this. And same thing happens for this new model. So the milling over here, maybe it's a little bit more evident, is going to be like the lock side. But just because the nature of the carbon fiber, it's going to be a little bit harder to see, but I can show you. Look at this. The milling is going on, the seashell kind of milling. So different milling, different carbon fiber, different shape for the show side scale, because as I said, this is both are 3D milled, but this is indented convex and this is concave. So that's the first. Also, if you check the pivot, we have an oversized pivot right over here with pivot collar, and here you have the classic pivot with also pivot collar, and you would say, yeah, they just increased the size. Okay, yeah, that's one thing, they increased the size. But then if you look at the actual screw which you use to take the knife apart, this is just like a slotted entrance, whereas in this guy, as you can see, they closed at the end, so the tool is kind of like keyed in. It's not wobbly, it's not going to slide out, therefore reducing the risk of scratches around the pivot when you take care of this knife. Really neat addition. And also, there's another major substantial difference, like beside the fact that this is bigger pivot and smaller, the actual collar here is glued, epoxied in place, whereas here it's integral part of the bearing track. So the collar actually is integral with the bearing track, which is underneath. So it's one chunk. So this is not like a separate piece, but it's a solid piece which actually holds the cage for the bearings on that side. That is amazing. Major structural advantage and stability with this new cool design. If we check the other screw, again, it changed as well. So this is the first time we see in a Shirogorov like a keyed-in Chicago screw with the Bear logo, which is not here anymore like we have in the bronze. So it's on the body screw, which is keyed in, and it's not spinning, so it's captive. That's brilliant. So you will never have any problem taking this guy apart. Keyed in, of course, pivot, keyed in, body screw. fantastic. So the differences from the show side, I think they're pretty much these. We turn it onto the back and we see obviously like a different backspacer, much thinner. We have a titanium and we have I believe this is bronze, or yeah, I believe this is bronze. Material, of course, is different. The milling, this is like nicely done, 3D milling, kind of like a floating backspacer. They both have the lanyard integrated into the backspacer. And also another big difference on the back is the closure of this area for safety reason. Like if you miss this, you might be able to touch this because it's like right there. So in this case, they just close this area so it's not accessible anymore to your finger to be just touching the heel of the blade. Brilliant solution. Look at that. I mean, of course, this is like extremely thinner and lighter, but still. We switch to the lock side and we notice, first of all, like the stainless steel lock face insert screw. Here is like a custom division screw screwed in from the outside. Here it's screwed in from the inside, and you have some chamfered edge for the screw, which is a beautiful touch. The both have over travel lock bar stabilizer. They are both showing off like some crazy milling. I mean, just ridiculous. Where you think there's no milling, like in this part. Check it out. You have tiny lines going on. Really beautiful. The lock bar cat is thinner on the Hati bronze. You have an external cutout relief for the lock bar, and you have it internal in the bronze. So magnetic is outside and bronze is on the inside. Also, very different pocket clip. This is more like F95 style. In fact, this is called F95 Hati magnetic, and this is more like F3 style. Both have hidden hardware. This guy has a dual tone finish with micro milling and like a satin finish and chamfers. Really cool. Whereas this guy just one finish, beautifully 3D milled, and of course they are both working gorgeously, really cool. They're both resting on not on the lock bar actually, so that is very good to know. Also, another little difference. Look at the body screw on the back. Here we have a cutout in the pocket clip to allow the access of for the tool. Whereas here you have to be really careful not to mar and scratch this side right over here of the clip. So just pay extra attention when you disassemble the clip, the body screw on the Hati magnetic. So on this side, I would say differences are done. We just have to check out the blade because that's another very different affair. So basically, we have very similar shape. The belly is pretty much the same. We have a different thickness, of course. We have different jimping, a little bit more effective on the Hati, a little bit more decorative on the Hati magnetic. We have taller flats on the Hati bronze, which translates into a, I would say, less thin behind the edge thickness for the blade, because of course the primary bevel would be shorter. S90V steel for both these guys. The stonewash is the classic fine medium for the custom division. It's gorgeous dual finish for both. We have kind of polished, satin polished, kind of polished, let's say, flats for both, and this beautiful fine stone washed for the primary bevel. We have evidently a cutout, which is my favorite feature of the Hati bronze. So sad to see that going there, but I have an F3B, so I still am good in the cutout department for the blade. They're both sporting like the custom division logo on the side, on the show side, and S90V on the other side. And that is going to be pretty much it for the blade, except for the flipper tab. Another neat feature on the Hati bronze. There's a little bit of skeletonization going on and nothing going on the Hati magnetic, probably because the stock thickness would be too thin. Actually, let's just check it out, because Shirogorov is using millimeters. You get 4 millimeters for the Hati bronze, and you get 3 mm for the Hati magnetic, so 1 full millimeter less. It's gonna reflect a lot into the weight of these two bad boys. Let's check it out. This fella obviously is gonna be higher. Let's do in grams, because why not? 132.3, which equals to 4.67 ounces, and this is gonna be, look at that, 3.33, 3.34 ounces in the pocket for the Hati magnetic. It's significantly lighter. It's gorgeous. It's just an incredible piece of engineering. I mean, micro milling going on the lock bar cutout is just fantastic. They both handle gorgeously in the hand for two different reasons. This is, concave like that. Convex, sorry, so fills the hand. Whereas in this case, you would think like, oh, this is like, it's like a hole, like it's just dipping down. So it's not going to be comfy. Actually, it's the opposite, because your fingers are kind of like resting on this dip, like here, therefore creating like a fantastic grip. And this thing is insanely comfy in the hand. Zero hot spots. Look at the clearance for the flipper tab, guys. This is just ridiculous. It is gorgeous. So really, insane technology, research, development went into the making of this Hati magnetic, which I truly love. This is like a staple in the Shirogorov custom division lineup. It's one of the best, but it feels 4 years of technology advancement, and still, this is a gorgeous one. But for example, this guy is lacking internal skeletonization on the show side carbon fiber. This fella here, they even milled the internal with some nice lines. In this guy, they even milled the inside of the pocket clip, which you can only admire if you take it apart. That is like extreme. So they can do it, so they did it. And this is like probably, it's my favorite Hati to date. Really easy. This thing I love because the fidget factor, of course, in the cutout of the blade and the nice jimping, I really appreciate that. But beside those two things, I have to say that the new Hati magnetic is a killer. It's the new Hati King. I love it. So there you have it. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned.